I've been driving nights for almost 6 years now. Most rides are boring. Drunks heading home, couples arguing in the back seat, businessmen glued to their phones. You learn to tune people out, keep the wheels moving, and count the miles until morning. But there are nights that stick with you, nights that make you wonder if maybe you should have just stayed home. This is one of those nights. It was close to 2 a.m. when I got the ping. Pick up at a gas station just off the interstate. Nothing unusual. Stations like that are magnets for late-night fares. I pulled in, headlights washing over the pumps and vending machines. He was already waiting. Tall guy, maybe late 30s, dark jacket, hood pulled low. He slid into the back without a word. The smell hit me immediately. Not booze, not weed, just something metallic, like copper. "Where to?" I asked, tapping the app. "Just drive," he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. I hesitated. I need a destination. He leaned forward, close enough that I could see his eyes in the rear view. Pale, steady, unblinking. "You live on Franklin Street, right?" he asked. My stomach flipped. I hadn't told him that. I forced a laugh. "What are you talking about? Where's your drop-off?" He smiled, just a little. "We'll get there. Just drive." I put the car in gear, my pulse suddenly louder than the engine. I pulled out of the station, headlights cutting across the empty road. My hands were tight on the wheel, trying not to show him I was rattled. I've had my share of weird passengers before, but this one was different. "Long night?" he asked from the back. "Something like that," I muttered. He leaned back, stretching out like he owned the car. Then he started asking questions. Not the usual small talk. These were sharp, pointed. "You still got that little blue house with the porch swing? How's your wife? Still working late nights at the hospital? And your kid, what is he now? 7? 8? Every word was like ice water down my spine. My throat went dry. I hadn't listed any of that on the app. Hell, my profile didn't even use my full last name. I glanced at him in the mirror. He was smiling faintly, eyes fixed on me like he was enjoying the show. "How do you know that?" I asked, my voice low. He didn't answer, just tapped something in his pocket, a phone, maybe, and whispered, "Left up ahead." I followed, though every part of me screamed not to. We left the main road, tires humming over cracked pavement. No lights out here, just trees pressing in, shadows swallowing the car. Finally I said it. "Listen, if this is some kind of joke, it's not funny." He leaned forward again, so close I could feel his breath on my neck. "Who said I was joking?" I gripped the wheel tighter, forcing myself to breathe steady. That was when I noticed his hands. One resting casually on the seat, the other clutching something in his lap. Something sharp. The shape caught the glow from the dashboard just enough for me to recognize it. A knife. Not huge, not theatrical. Just a simple folding blade, half open in his hand. My pulse hammered in my ears. I kept my eyes forward, forcing myself not to stare into the mirror. Rule number 1. Don't escalate. "Take the next right," he said casually, like we were just running errands. I obeyed, turning onto a narrower road. The pavement was rough, full of potholes. My headlights stretched far enough to show that it led deeper into the woods. No houses, no streetlights, nothing. My mind raced. I could floor it, try to outrun him, but we were miles from town. If he lunged forward with that blade while I was speeding, we'd both end up wrapped around a tree. "You know," he said softly, "most drivers don't pay attention. They just follow the GPS like sheep. But you're careful. You notice things." He leaned forward again, his voice almost a whisper. "That's why I picked you." I swallowed hard. "Picked me for what?" He didn't answer, just chuckled, low and dry, and sat back. The knife gleamed again as he turned it slowly in his hand. We drove in silence for what felt like forever, the road twisting deeper into nowhere. Then he spoke again. "Pull over here." I glanced around. There was no here. Just trees and darkness pressing in on both sides. Why? I asked, stalling. He smiled in the mirror. Because this is where we find out what kind of man you really are. My knuckles whitened on the wheel. I could feel sweat dripping down my back. And that's when I made a choice. I eased the car onto the shoulder, engine still idling. The woods swallowed us whole. No lights, no sounds, but the ticking of the cooling engine. "Turn it off," he said. I kept my hand on the key. "Listen, man, if you need money, take it. I don't carry cash, but I've got cards." He cut me off with a laugh. "This isn't about money." The knife clicked fully open. He tapped the blade against the seat. Slow, deliberate. "Get out." My brain was running 1,000 miles an hour. I thought about my wife, my kid, the porch swing he'd mentioned. He knew. I opened the door, stepping into the night air. Cold, damp. The smell of wet leaves filled my lungs. He slid out behind me, blade glinting faintly in the moonlight. "Walk," he ordered, nodding toward the trees. Every instinct screamed not to, but I moved. My boots crunched on the gravel, then on soft earth. Branches clawed at my jacket as we stepped off the road. About 20 yards in, he stopped. "Here's fine." He just stood there, watching me. I couldn't read his face, couldn't guess what was coming next. Finally, I forced myself to speak. "Why me? Out of all the drivers, why me?" He tilted his head, smiling faintly. "Because you've got something to lose." My stomach knotted. Then, in one sudden motion, he raised the knife. And I made my move. The blade flashed in the dim light, but adrenaline hit me like a switch. I grabbed the door of the car I'd left open, yanked it toward me, and shoved with all my weight. The edge of the door slammed into him, hard enough to knock him sideways. He stumbled, cursed, but didn't fall. I dove back into the driver's seat, slammed the lock, and floored the gas. Gravel spit out from under the tires as the car lurched forward. In the mirror, I saw him, standing in the middle of the road, knife glinting, just watching as I sped away. He didn't chase. He didn't run. Just stood there, a dark figure swallowed by the trees. I didn't stop until I saw the lights of the interstate. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost couldn't keep the car straight. I pulled into a rest stop, chest heaving, trying to process what had just happened. I called dispatch and the police, reported everything. They searched the woods, found nothing. No man, no footprints, no trace. Just my tire marks cutting off the shoulder. For weeks, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing his eyes in the rearview mirror. Kept hearing his voice saying, "Because you've got something to lose." I still drive sometimes. Bills don't pay themselves. But every time I pull into a gas station at night, every time a man in a hood slides into the back seat, my pulse spikes. Because I know he's still out there, and maybe next time I won't get away. Thanks for listening. That's how this story ended, with one ride I'll never forget, and a reminder that not every danger is on the road. Sometimes it's in your back seat. Have you ever had a passenger, or a stranger, who made your skin crawl? Share your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear it. And if this one gripped you, don't forget to like and subscribe. More real stories, raw, haunting, and unforgettable, are coming soon.